Hello and welcome to another movie reviews by Benjamin. We just got done wrapping up this is the end review, and now we'll be reviewing Man of Steel, Zack Snyder's take on the whole Superman story. Now I'm going to go into this saying that I am a huge Zack Snyder fan. I love everything he's ever done. I haven't seen a movie from Zack Snyder that I didn't like. For those of you who don't like Zack Snyder, you might have a little bit of an issue with this movie because you can definitely tell this is something he's touched. Of course, it's directed by him. It's actually written by Christopher Nolan, who, of course, as we all know, directed the Dark Knight trilogy. Also was co-written by Christopher Nolan as well as David S. Goyer, who wrote the Dark Knight trilogy as well. So has kind of a darker, sort of more human feel. Of course, you've got Henry Cavill playing the Man of Steel himself, Superman. You have Jor-El, his father, played by Russell Crowe, who does an absolutely amazing job. Of course, kind of redeeming himself for the sins of Les Mis, but we'll talk about that another day. Lawrence Fishburne is in this movie as the Perry White, the editor-in-chief of the newspaper that they all write for. Amy Adams plays Lois Lane. Wasn't really sold on that. I'm kind of more of a traditional sort of person. I'll go on record saying I am a huge Marvel fan, not as deep into the DC universe as some people are, but I do know I like, sticking to the storyline, and Amy Adams' Lois Lane doesn't really feel like the Lois Lane in the comic books and even the older movies with Christopher Reeve. Don't compare this movie to Superman Returns. Don't even watch Superman Returns from 2006. It's a terrible film. But this movie definitely makes up for anything we've seen in the last few years, even anything related to Superman. If you're going to make a Superman movie, make it like this. This movie absolutely was just out of this world great. Runtime is like 2 hours and 23 minutes. Never once looked at my clock. I mean, it was just absolutely keeps you focused in. I know a lot of people, some of the fight scenes kind of rub people the wrong way because it is so much CGI, but when you have Superman and he's flying around, punching people into buildings and saving people from falling, I mean, it's going to be CGI. They can't have that, for real. So, for what they did, with the CGI, with all that stuff, I think they did an absolutely great job. You really see a human side to Clark Kent here. I really like the way I'm not a huge fan of origin stories, but the way they did this one was absolutely fantastic. All his childhood, they could have spent an entire 2-hour movie on just his childhood, but he's an adult in this movie, and his memories of when he first kind of started getting his powers of, super strength, he could fly and all this stuff is kind of like in flashbacks. So they don't spend a ton of time on it. You're not kind of bored with how, his day-to-day life is. Kevin Costner and Diane Lane play his human parents who found him on Earth when he crashed here. Did an absolutely great job. Kevin Costner has so many touching scenes. It's just, I won't give away any spoilers, but some of the stuff, I mean, it'll bring you to tears. It is absolutely great acting. Michael Shannon plays General Zod. He did pretty well in this. He's a very charismatic character. He really likes to get angry and get into the role. I think he did really well here. Maybe not the best choice for this character rather. He's good, but I think there was probably someone else who we could have seen play General Zod here, and it maybe would have been just a little bit better. As I said, Jor-El, his father from Krypton, is in this movie, played by Russell Crowe. And it's important to say that for probably the first 30 minutes of this movie is actually set on Krypton, which no film has ever really touched this deep on it before. And it is just absolutely out of this world. I mean, it just gets you right into the action. Of course, as we all know, Krypton explodes, and that's why they had to send him off the planet. The chemistry and the kind of hierarchy, the politics of the planet are all shown, and it's just out of this world. Definitely check this movie out. This is an IMAX movie. It is also playing in 3D. It's important to say I did not see it in 3D, but I did see the midnight premiere on the IMAX screen. If you can see it on the IMAX screen, absolutely check it out. I mean, this movie is big. There's explosions. There's just, and that's something else too that I was going to say about this movie is, big explosions, tanks blowing up, buildings falling over. That's going to be in every summer blockbuster. But this movie, it keeps you just as glued to the screen when it's just two people talking, and that's something that's really important in a movie like this. Dialogue is just out of this world. I thought Henry Cavill did a great job being Superman this time. He's really just a regular human guy. He's a goody, he's always been kind of a good guy, kind of a the American Boy Scout sort of person. And I mean, he's good here, but he's a little more toned down. He's a little more quiet. He's very reserved, and he just does an excellent job. So I'm gonna have to give Superman Returns. Good Lord, no, I'll give that a 2 out of 10. But this movie, Man of Steel, is definitely getting a 9 out of 10 from me. Like I said, just a couple little things. Amy Adams kind of not so much. Michael Shannon did well, but I think they could have maybe picked somebody a little bit better. That's why I can't give it a solid 10 out of 10. But 9 out of 10 for this one. I would definitely see it again. I would definitely encourage you to go check it out. I haven't seen it in 3D, so I'm not sure which films are in 3D, which aren't. But this movie, of course, you've got, like I said, a lot of CGI, but the way it's done, when he's first learning how to fly, I mean, how do you make that as realistic as possible? I think Zack Snyder did a great job with that. So they made this movie with a $225 million budget, and an opening weekend had already made $200 million worldwide. So they're on track, I'm sure, right where they want to be with this. Read some of the other reviews. Of course, like I said, some people feel like some of the fight scenes are a little repetitive. General Zod and his people fighting Superman, they're all on Earth. The sun that we have here makes him stronger, makes him be able to fly, and all that sort of stuff. So it's a little bit repetitive. Like I said, though, I mean, this is a long film. Never caught me looking at my clock. So I think this is definitely a film you should check out with your friends. This is a movie for everybody. There are some kind of darker themes in there. I will say, I'm not going to say who, but I will say that some people do die in this movie. So it's definitely got the Christopher Nolan kind of dark feel with a Zack Snyder twist on it, and I mean, it is just absolutely out of this world. So definitely go check out Man of Steel, 9 out of 10 for me, and let me know what you think about this movie as soon as you guys see it. Tell me if you've already seen it, what you thought about it. If you would have made any casting changes, what would you have said? Don't forget to like and subscribe. And the next movie I'll be reviewing is The Purge, starring Ethan Hawke and Lena Headey. So look forward to that. Should be getting that up sometime either tonight or tomorrow. So look forward to that. And until then, I will see you at the movies.